What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to another Physical Media Friday. And this week I'm going to start off with an eBay acquisition and then show some things that I've picked up somewhat recently from either Hamilton Book or Kino Lorber. But last month I discussed my 2025 collecting plan and the budget that I'm utilizing each month, which is $20. And although the sticker on here says $14.99, I ended up paying, I think, $13.20 all said and done with this. So half of the balance will be applied to next month, to my budget of $20. So perhaps next Physical Media Friday, I'll have you guys help me pick out a film. I don't know, or maybe two with a whopping $23 and I think it's 80 cents. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be sticking to for this entire year. I've got lots of watching to do. And, of course, I will be adding all of the Clint Eastwood films that I don't have that I can. So we're going to start off with A Perfect World from the Clint Eastwood collection. I've seen it at least once. Very good film. Kevin Costner, Clint Eastwood, Laura Dern. Next, a little something I picked up. I think Jim from Jim's Movie Channel will get a kick out of it. It just came up on the Talking Movies podcast, and it's only appropriate. A few months ago, I interviewed Leviathan. What was the name of that other underwater horror movie that came out around that same time? Deep Star 6, a Sean Cunningham film. I'm going to watch this and review this, and then I'll flip the cover art around. There's alternate cover art, which pretty much shows the monster. So, you know, I've heard that one is better than the other, but I won't even get into that. I'll give this a fair shot and discuss it then. And speaking of Jim, a while back he had a list of his favorite David Warner films, and I had one in my haul video last week. So here goes another one from Kino Lorber, also starring Ursula Andress, never a bad thing, and Stanley Baker. Stanley Baker was kind of that rough-looking dude from Zulu. He was pretty big back then. Apparently this is like an action comedy shot by Alan Hume, who did Runaway Train and Return of the Jedi. Interesting. Yeah, it's a heist type of a thing. I could probably have a whole weekend of British heist movies at this point. I got like tons of them piling up. Next, a little something for Martial Arts Monday. We have Duel with the Devil. And I thought this was a sequel to one of the films that I've already reviewed, but I think that's another film with a similar title. I do recognize some of these faces, but perhaps not one of the more well-known ones from the era, but of course I'll give it a chance. Next up, I have something I'm not going to open yet. Classic Brian De Palma, Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen, Dressed to Kill, the 4K. I haven't seen this in quite a while, but you know, that's only 105 minutes, huh? Looking forward to rewatching that one. Now I have a couple Westerns. Now I'm going to be mentioning Mike's DVD and Blu Rays coming up here on future editions of Physical Media Fridays. And he's helped me pick out a lot of Westerns. These two are not among those. However, these are both foreign Westerns that look pretty interesting. So, Mike, if you're watching, let me know if you have heard of either one of these. First of all, we have Good for Nothing. This Ain't No Place for a Lady. Leonard Maltin says it's lively and original. This is a Kiwi Western. Imagine a Kiwi spaghetti Western filtered through the offbeat sensibilities of early Sam Raimi or the Coen brothers. So it's from New Zealand. So should be an interesting film to look at with an interesting setting. And the next one, wonder where the next one's from. Let's see if we can figure it out. There we go. Brazilian Western. Blu-ray and DVD in here. That's always a plus. I have seen Brazilian Westerns before. I have seen some set back in, you know, the early part of the 20th century or perhaps part of the late 19th century. But this one is set in modern times. It's just called Brazilian Western. Apparently it has a Romeo and Juliet atmosphere. And it says, oh, it's a interesting and exciting new genre, the Brazilian gangster. I've seen plenty of Brazilian gangster films. I don't know how new that is. But this might have like kind of a new look. Let's just scan drug trafficking, collision course with Playboy drug dealer Jeremias, his rival in the business. And there's a lady in the middle of them. Hey, sounds good to me. I'll check it out. Have you heard of that? You guys have any favorite Brazilian films? I went through a Brazilian phase years ago. So I'm happy to get back into another Brazilian film. I have one more to show you guys, but first, let's cut away for a moment and share some big news in the world of physical media collecting. And I'll be right back for the last two films. And before I go today, I thought it would only be appropriate to discuss some breaking news in the world of physical media collecting. By the time you see this, it'll be a couple weeks old already. But if you were a Hong Kong movie fan, and especially if you were a fan of films like The Killer and Hard Boiled and City on Fire, films from the late 80s and through the 90s, this is the news you've been waiting for, the single biggest piece of news that could possibly be breaking. And that is that the Golden Princess library of 156 Hong Kong films will be distributed through Shout Studios. And previously what had happened is they decided to move on from the movie business, and they were not interested in doing piecemeal deals with any distributing companies. Okay, so they weren't going to let Arrow distribute The Killer and Hard Boiled and another company distribute Aces Go Places. It was all or nothing. So apparently they did strike a deal with Shout Studios. Maybe not everybody's first choice as far as a distributor, but I'm hoping that they really put some thought into this and give us some really good quality additions. As I've mentioned before, I'm on a budget this year, so I personally am in no great rush, but I know a lot of people just can't wait for some of these films to be released. The question is, how will they be released? I think I read that there won't be any box sets, even though we have a lot of trilogies like Aces Go Places and 3 Better Tomorrow films, things like that. I'm thinking probably they're just going to release a 4K with a Blu-ray. That would be ideal, or maybe additionally also on Blu-ray. Personally, for some of the comedies, and there are some pretty funny comedies in there with people like Carol Doo Chang, she was a favorite of ours when we used to watch these movies with the family back in the day. I wouldn't mind if some of those films came out on DVD myself. That's just me personally. But what are your thoughts about this entire catalog? Are you guys fans of The Killer, Hard Boiled, City on Fire, Prison on Fire, any of these classic movies from that era? Let me know in the comments below. And what are your thoughts about Shout Studios releasing them? Also let me know in the comments below. And then finally, it looks like we have a nice release, double feature release of a Stallone and a Van Damme and a Lundgren. Of course, we got Lock Up and Universal Soldier. I believe this is the original one. I don't think that's a subtitle. I think these are the French titles. So this is a French and an English release. But yeah, I have enjoyed both of these movies, and I haven't seen either one for a long time. So interested in rewatching both of those. And oh yeah, I wanted to mention, check out the Hey Internet, It's Eric channel this month. He is doing Van Damme reviews all month. So check out his channel. And I may perhaps squeeze one in myself. All right, there you go, guys. What do you think of this week's haul? And what do you think of this exciting news involving that treasure trove of Hong Kong classics? Let me know in the comments below. Come back again next week for another Physical Media Friday. Thanks.